everybody. Welcome back to a sober edition of the Dynamite Book. Last week was a little bit crazy due to the birthday festivities, but I'm back in my own home and I'm boring again.
Never.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. There's no tequila this episode, but we do have a lot to talk about. It was the Revolution Go Home show, which means it was super eventful. I like to think it was an upgrade from last week. Not as much wrestling as I would like, but with the card that we have for Revolution, we're about to get a lot of wrestling. So
you don't want to eat too much before the big meal,
it's like appetite.
It's like Thanksgiving or Christmas when you're like, I don't really need to eat too much in the morning.
Exactly.
I know what I'm going to have for dinner.
Exactly. Sometimes you skip breakfast on Thanksgiving, so that's what you do. Without any further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. The show bookends were the most important thing. So we opened the show with the world title and we ended the show with the Sting angle. And we started off the show with Hangman. Actually, no. This is the first time that Hangman came out and I was not super excited to see him because I would like to say, Mr. Hangman, that was filthy, nasty, and disgusting what you did to me. To me.
Nasty work.
Hobbling, and he sold it. I will say, some of you really tried to convince the rest of us that Hangman wasn't a storyteller. Hangman wasn't one of the greatest. And when I say that man had me fooled, it's so crazy. When I saw him hobble out, I ran to the kitchen mid-entrance. Grabbed my bottle of wine, and started chugging out of the bottle. I said, "Oh my!"
This is the reason people drink Hangman. That's not funny. This is
when I say
matter.
Life has been so hard recently, like for personal reasons. When I say I'm clawing my way to Revolution, and if Hangman was off that card, it might have been my 13th reason. I'm not joking. Huh?
You're only at 13.
Yeah, I'm trying to keep it cute. I'm trying to be really nice about it. I was trying to be really nice about it. We're honestly on reason about 33, but
no,
yeah,
not 33. Pick a different number. Any number.
35.
Not 33. Okay, cool.
Okay. I was so upset, and then he just keeps talking and he starts doing this super babyface promo. It was like when he was the world champion, and I'm just like, yeah, hey man, like this is amazing. And he's like, I'm not gonna be able to compete. And I'm like, oh my god. And then Swerve comes out, and honestly, he's just like, hey bro, like I really was only picking on you just because, like, I just wanted your spot. I ain't really thought, I ain't want to like ruin your life or anything, bro. And like,
he did threaten his kid though, so I don't know if I buy that all the way. But
he said, it was never personal, bro. Tried to walk it back.
It's not personal, but okay.
And then Joe comes out and was like, "Y'all done lost y'all ever loving mind. Y'all have lost your minds. Period. Like, what are you talking about? Everybody think that they entitled to this." And I would like to say the AEW World Championship back on that black strap looks beautiful. It was just gleaming in the light. Did you see it? It was just gleaming on Samoa Joe's shoulder. It looked perfect. It looked beautiful. It looked amazing. Super mega foxy, awesome, hot. It looked awesome. And Joe dropped, an amazing promo. Then Swerve clapped back.
You never go wrong with black.
And then Swerve was like, yeah, I'm about to send you back to commentary in that poncho. And he said, you must not know who I am. I'm the one who went to wrestling school and beat up a teenager. And I'm the one who ran into a man's house and threatened his child. I'm big, I'm bad. Hangman said, who the fuck? Did you see his face? He said, you know what?
He said, I know good and damn well you're not talking to me.
He You're gonna talk about
good
me
and damn
and
well
my
you're
child? He said, "You're going to talk about me and my child? I'm standing right here." And he proceeds to beat Swerve like he stole something. He said, "You will never get it. You won't get it. You won't have it. You won't have it. I will have it." The cowboy fooled me.
Here's what I'll say. Here's what I'll say, right? Don't love the visuals. Hangman, we're getting close to the end of Black History Month. Okay. Not a great look for you, but I'm cool off it. It's okay. It's okay. I'm gonna let it slide. I want to say everybody go ahead, because Hangman started I think what I said I'm gonna use my Black History Month powers to heal him.
Yes, you did say that. You did say that you were going to heal him. I'm going to be honest, I didn't mind it. And the reason why was because when Swerve was like, yeah, I was in that man's house and he beat his child, I was like, okay, somebody has to hit him. There's no way him as a man with self-respect. Hangman could not have just sat there and just let that slide. Like, there's no way. I would have lost respect for him if he let Swerve just continue to talk shit and didn't hit him. Because what are you saying? What do you mean by that? I don't know. I think Dani's frozen. That's interesting. Cool. But yeah, I was really excited about the world title angle. And I'm really happy that Hangman is still in the match. And I'm also really happy that Samoa Joe continues to make himself important in the midst of all this Hangman Swerve stuff. Also, the guy in the crowd that was doing the Swerve thing when I drive thing hard as hell, I feel that because, sometimes for some people it's just a wrestling show, and for some people it's life. It's a concert, it's a dance party, it's all of these different things. And so I love that people are really getting into it. And also, the Swerve's house was so loud. The chants were extremely loud, and they continue to get louder. You can tell that the fans are on board with Swerve being world champ. And so that's super exciting. Dani's going to rejoin. But moving on, we had the Jon Moxley, Claudio Castagnoli, and Bryan Danielson versus FTR and Eddie Kingston match. I really love this match, even though it was super long. Like, it ended up taking up most of the first hour of Dynamite after the opening segment. And so that was pretty cool. I will say that I'm not 100% sold on the FTR versus BCC feud. Obviously, I'm not the biggest FTR fan. However, adding Eddie in the mix just made everything better. I think it sold it. Just because even if I would say that FTR and BCC don't have the most natural heat, Eddie has history with literally everybody in the BCC. He got into it with Claudio. He got into it with Bryan. He got into it with Mox. So Eddie's presence really kind of balanced everything out. And so I was super happy for that. I will say that Bryan Danielson, you sick fuck. The way that he was going crazy, like just literally going crazy, like with the stomping on Eddie, choking him out at the end. It was just super sadistic, and I really love when he climbs into that sadistic bag. And also, we don't get to see a lot of true trios matches with that variation of the BCC of Bryan and Claudio and Mox. And honestly, I'm 100% sold. If it's up to me, I would like them to put the trios belts on the BCC. I want them to have the all-star run that Okada, Tanahashi, and Ishii had with the never six-man belts in New Japan over the past year. I think that the BCC could have a very similar reign as far as excellent six-man matches and really kind of like redefining those belts, because I really feel like they need to be redefined because they've kind of lost their way ever since, the Elite and the Death Triangle era. So I'm interested in seeing where that goes, but I was super happy with this match. Made me super happy about the Brian and Eddie match that we are going to see at Revolution. Like I said, I'm still not the happiest that my GOAT is facing FTR, but hey, I can live with that. You can't have everything.
Am I back in time to slander FTR?
Yes!
Okay. Yeah, don't waste my fucking time. Okay, look, I was so frustrated because why did we do any of this last week? The time limit draw is now, it's supposed to mean something. I don't even understand why you bitches were mad at each other. And now we went ahead and we did a 3-man, and now y'all finna do the tag team match again. Okay, first of all, don't nobody need that shit. FTR, Commissary Cash Wheeler, I know good and damn well that you have other things.
Pause. What did you call him?
You criminal allegedly.
What did you call him?
Cash Wheeler. Commissary Cash Wheeler. He knows good and damn well what he is. Allegedly. Allegedly. All right. So I don't understand. We all know. You know what he is. So look. I this match itself, I had fun. I thought the 3-way was fun. But yeah, the fact that we're doing this for Revolution.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I think that Eddie made the trio match so much better just because, he has history with everybody, but the FTR part, it still doesn't exactly move me. But I will say, Cash Wheeler has the hottest hot tag probably in the business. He runs the ropes like nobody's business, and so I will give him that. So yeah, if this just means that we are just one step closer to Mox going to whatever that he's supposed to do next. I honestly think that he should take a break from AEW. I think that he should go on a full New Japan run. I think he should beat Naito. And I don't think they need him right now. I truly, they really don't. You have all these guys coming in. You don't really need Mox. He should just be doing the New Japan and the CMLL stuff and having a jolly old good time. That's just my personal opinion. But moving on after that, we had I skipped a part. We had the first Bucks promo when they got out of the SUV in their suits. Matthew Jackson was in tweed and Nicholas Jackson was in his pink suit, and they came out with their white bats looking for Sting. Near and far, they were talking to Renee. And so that was when they originally started their hunt for Sting, which we saw repeatedly throughout the rest of the night. But yes, then we moved on to after BCC versus Eddie and FTR, we had a Jericho promo. I will say this is one of the this is one of the rare Jericho promos I didn't hate. And I think it's because if it made sense, it actually made sense. I feel like what's really been a lot of people's frustration is it feels like Jericho has been inserting himself in things that really shouldn't have anything to do with him. Why are you involved with Kenny Omega? Why are you involved with Takeshita? Why are you involved in this? And so this, for the first time in a very long time, it finally felt like it made sense for that of something that Jericho's doing. And so they brought back that super cool CMLL footage of him as Corazon de Leon and CMLL in the 90s versus Atlantis Senior.
Ooh, come on, accent.
Senior. And it was really cool. And he was bringing the Lionheart back, and he requested this match. He wants to go against Atlantis' son, Atlantis Jr. And so, this actually worked for me. I understand that you are a true hater, and I respect that about you.
To my core.
You're to my core. You're going to stick beside that.
Okay,
look. I respect that about you.
Look. Chris Jericho, and you know what is crazy? When I was younger, Chris Jericho was one of my favorites. The problem is now at your big age, relax, okay? And look, Chris Jericho, you want to cut promos in Spanish? First of all, talk to your tutor, because what the hell was that? Okay, so it's my turn. ¿Por qué gastas nuestro tiempo? ¿Ok? No tienes ninguna razón para estar aquí ahorita haciendo todo eso. Y tenemos todos esos luchadores que tienen todo ese talento. ¿Y qué hace usted? ¿Por qué estás aquí? Chris Jericho, why are you here in this moment? You had nothing to do with the Revolution build. You weren't around when we were doing the CMLL thing, even when that was BCC. So if anything, we were going to do anything for the pay-per-view, it would have made more sense with them. But now here your ass come because the Fozzy tour wouldn't work. Okay, you couldn't sell tickets, so you came back. Okay, I'm not doing this shit with you. You old man.
It's so funny because it's so funny because like as she continued to like say the craziest shit, like her it started going in and out, and then it like completely froze, and it's just like I'm almost positive like she was still cursing behind the camera. Dani has some very strong feelings about, Chris Jericho. If you watch the show regularly and if you listen to it regularly, she has a list of people that she will never respect. And Jericho is certainly on that list. And she reminds us frequently. And so you see me, I try to, even when I don't like people, I always try to like see things from a lens of, well, how does this work from the context of the show? And, and just trying to be like, just be objective. Dani is none of those things. And, we need people to be subjective. And so, whoa, that'll do it.
No, it won't. I'm back with more hate in my heart. Hey, the devil is a lie, but I sure am not. All right. My Wi-Fi might hate black people, but it will not prevail. I need to say, Christopher Jericho, I'm still on your ass, bitch. Okay? And it's probably for the best that you are here. We can keep an eye on you so that you don't play another January 6th or whatever the fuck you got going on over there. All right? I enjoyed your work earlier on. I am not enjoying it at present. I won't say that. I don't have a whole great deal of respect for you and what you're doing right now. Peace, blessings, whatever the hell you got going on. I don't fucking care. Also, it's Black History Month. I don't have to be nice to that man. He wouldn't be nice to me. Allegedly. Anyway.
Oh. Dani has literally gone on rants in 2 different languages on this show. You cooked, I fear. You cooked. You cooked. You know what? While we're here, let's just change up the order a little bit and let's just finish the Jericho bits now. Fast forward to the Jericho versus Atlantis Jr. match that happened. It was a bit clunky, but I will say, and I don't think the clunkiness was Jericho's fault. I think that like Atlantis, he's just Junior. He was outmatched strength-wise, and so like a lot of the spots that he was going for, like he really had struggle like holding Jericho up. But the emotion was certainly there. Had his father there, choking Jericho out with the towel, and his father ends up throwing in the towel while he's in the walls of Jericho. And yeah, I will say like versus the lucha talent for. Jericho gets this second win. Like this second win, he actually like seems to put in more effort to his matches. And so maybe we should ship him off to Arena Mexico for a while,
Yeah. I'm all for that. I don't know if he would be.
I think he would. Like, he's been on a recent, tour of all these new places he's ever been are like these old places that he went to earlier in his career. I think about like him performing in Ryogoku last year at the DDT show. And so I think, hey, Mox, Brian, Claudio, Willow, they're all heading to Arena Mexico soon for a show. So I don't think it's far-fetched.
Sure, time. Yeah, I mean, look, the match itself, to your point, a little clunky. The timing was a little bit weird. It was clear that Atlantis was very talented. Yes. And I would love to see him come back on another date for AEW, because I think that he would probably agree that it's probably not his best match ever. Yeah. But you clearly see like what's there. And
I think that he's used to wrestling people his size. Like they said, like he's the current, I think, light heavyweight champion. So like he's a smaller guy. Like he's a cruiserweight wrestling a clear heavyweight, and like sometimes like that strength advantage. And that was more so of the only things that were really standing out to me, of just like when he tried to like pick him up or lift him or so. Yeah. So I would love to see him come back, like maybe versus a smaller opponent. I think he would do great. So
agreed.
But going back, we had the debut of the Billy Goat. Yes, bruv.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah,
right.
bro.
Can I say? Well, actually, don't jump me, guys. 2 things. One, why was he looking kind of? He's looking a little. But I'd never felt that way about Ospreay before.
I have, but like, he got me during the Kenny Omega feud. Really took him from naughty to hottie for me.
You can do both. Oh, yeah. I see what the scale is now. But so I'm just gonna put that out there because it's important to be transparent. But 2, we're gonna need subtitles. What the fuck is that?
I will say the first sentence that he said, I had no idea what it
so sorry to be here, bro. What?
I had no idea what he said.
My suitcase.
And the thing is, like, and I think there are moments like that, people will like expect like the New Japan fans to like know what the fuck he's talking about or something. I've heard Will Ospreay talk so many times, and like at this point, like you just gotta go with it, man. You just gotta go with it. Like you have to feel the vibes. Like you really.
I look like Kermit the Frog.
I look like Kermit the Frog. They lost my bags, bro. They lost my bags. What I gonna do?
I'm sorry to be here in Alabama.
What gonna bro?
Yeah, look, you guys are gonna hear a lot of that accent.
But it's not bad. Like I don't say it as if it's a bad thing. It's a fun time. No. He comes across super authentic. Like he really,
absolutely,
he comes across so real. Like you can tell whatever comes to his mind, he says. And like Will Ospreay, over the course of his career, if you've been following it, both his best and worst trait is his lack of a filter. And he's come a long way. And I'm really glad that he's doing this AEW run now than in the past, because he's come a long way, and he'll tell you.
Had a certain Chicago man be sharing this locker room,
he'll tell you he's come a long way. He used to say everything like Will Ospreay will tell you he has ADHD and he's slightly on the spectrum. He has no idea what he's saying. He has no idea what he's saying half the time, and he's grown up a lot. So I'm really proud of him. He's come a long way.
Me too. I just hope that
we need
going forward, I can understand what he's saying. I'm gonna have to learn how to speak Ospreay.
Yeah.
And that's okay. I'm willing to do that. And I think it's funny because people always say that like about like talent that speak other languages, and I'm like, I've never had a problem understanding talent that speak other languages or like English with an accent, except Ospreay.
Like Sheeta, I understand her perfectly when she speaks.
No problem. I'm like, yeah, girl, go get it. Ospreay, what the hell are you saying to me, you little British bitch? But I love you.
I love Will Ospreay. And then Don Callis comes out with Takeshita and Hobbs. And I'm going to be honest, I don't think we really needed Don Callis here. We just needed Takeshita. The stare down alone was enough to send me to the spirit realm. But baby, when we got it, that handshake, woo! And then they pulled each other, and then he put a, and then there's a, and I said,
I think, guys, no, you guys don't understand. All right, look, I've not exactly been quiet about my crush on Konosuke Takeshita, and I won't be. But this moment, one, from a wrestling standpoint, because this match is what I am most excited for Revolution. I think that there's just no universe in which it doesn't absolutely slap, you know. So this match, I have very, very high expectations for in the ring. Now, for personal reasons, oh my god, that face off, and then Takeshi did a little tug. I was like, look, guys, you don't need to fight. I'll stand in the middle, and we can all figure this out together. We can start our own family. We don't need Don Callis.
Konosuke Takeshita, your Gucci belt and your parachute pants, they move me.
Your bit's
They
too
move
bad.
me.
Your bit's too bad. Your ass too fat. They're gonna kill you.
They move me. Billy in your blacksmith sweatsuit, y'all moved me. This is real grabs. This is real bars. And somebody tweeted about it, and they said, "Oh my gosh, Ospreay is just now realizing that Callis sees him as his replacement, Kenny Omega." And I said, "Oh my God, Kenny Omega is going to return and become a part of the story." And the earth will shake.
The crops will bloom.
The crops will boom, boom. World peace will be achieved. And also, I would like to give a shout out to Kenny Omega. I know nothing about Final Fantasy, but I watched his stream today and he looked great. He looked very healthy. His curls were popping.
You look great, Mookie. We love you.
We
don't know what the fuck you were talking about, but
I have no idea what he was talking about. But yes, Kenny Omega, yes. He was wearing the Red Octobers. He had that shit on. Yes, Kenny Omega, he looks very healthy. I think that, we might see him somewhat, kind of, sort of soon. Maybe, hopefully, kind of, maybe, sure, hopefully, kind of, maybe soon. But yes, Kenny Omega, we just wanted to tell you we love you. But yes, it's just so many different seeds. And I'm just so excited to live in a world with a roster. We have Will Ospreay, Konosuke Takeshita, Kenny Omega, Bryan Danielson, Kazuchika Okada, John Moxley, who am I forgetting? Jay White,
Hangman
Adam Page, Swerve Strickland, Samoa Joe.
This shit really means something to me.
This shit means something to me.
Y'all weren't in the trenches the way that some of us were. When it seemed like there was nobody to work Dynamite, okay? When you was looking up and down at the roster, like, oh God.
They was turning people away from Collision like it was the club. They said, you can't come. You cannot stay here.
But God.
Oh, listen, I'm so hyped, man. It's going to be great. I'm going to be honest. Revolution has the possibility. We could see anywhere between 1 to 5 5-star matches.
Yeah, easily. Absolutely.
I think that we're going to get a minimum. I think that we get a minimum of 3.
I agree with you.
I think that the world title match has a floor of 4.5 and a ceiling of 5.25. I think Bucks versus Sting and Darby is 5 minimum.
Mm-hmm.
I think Billy and Takeshita is 4.75 floor,
10.
6 ceiling. I think Dave Meltzer might literally pass out.
Here's my thing, though, right? Oh, I probably shouldn't say this, right? I don't give a fuck what Dave Meltzer has to say, all right? I don't know that nigga. He don't know me.
So all right. So that bitch can call it 4.2 stars. When Takeshita and Osprey come on the screen, it gets 10 from me, and that's all that fucking matters. It'll get 4 Black awards immediately in the form of friendship bracelets, and what matters.
Well, yes. Yes, you've cooked that fear. I will say everybody's going platinum to me.
Why am I being so mean tonight?
You know, hey, it's okay.
Triple platinum. And this
is the last show of Black History Month, so get it all out. This is why you have an excuse. So hey.
True.
But next we had the Eddie. Eddie was doing a promo backstage with Renee, trying to talk, and then the Bucks come out of nowhere, and he's like, seriously, guys, and they're like, listen, you need to get it together. Your look is not where it needs to be, and where's your sport coat? We need to institute a dress code, okay? And what you were saying on Dynamite last week, we don't like it. And you're going to get a fine. And Renee said, I told you to buy those Louis Vuitton Timbs.
Which, do they make those?
Probably so.
Let me get some. Eddie Kingston, let's go shopping. We can both upgrade together, and you can pay.
That's for real. And then so the Bucks continue looking for Sting. Or was this another segment? I don't know. But they all started to be together because it was a million of them. Which is a great thing. But then they're looking for Sting. They get to Sting's locker room. And they walk in. And it's a locker room full of black bats hanging from the ceiling. Which was a nod to Sting's last episode of Nitro.
Nitro.
The callbacks on this episode were brilliant, by the way. Just absolutely brilliant. I love it. And we'll get to that later. But that happened. Next, we had Nick Wayne versus Orange Cassidy. Hey! Good stuff.
Put Lil Wayne to work. Why the hell is that bitch just standing there sometimes? All right? We got all these hours of television. Lil Wayne should be CEO or junior CEO of Collision. He should be putting in work.
I would also like to say, Shayna Wayne.
Have your moment. I have mine.
You are a fox.
She bad.
A stone cold fox. A bad mama jamma. A brick house. Like, today's music is not good enough for you. I need to play you some Commodores. I want to play you some Isley Brothers.
That's how
Al Green. I'm going to stand outside of your house with a boombox. That's not fair.
I be sitting up there looking at Takeshi and I'm like, damn, I need to go put on some fucking roller skates. I want to call this nigga Fly.
Shayna Wayne. Girl, I'm so messed up about you. Shayna Wayne, Mother Wayne. Oh my gosh.
Papa.
I know that they gave that boy hell in school. Oh my gosh, have you seen her? Have you seen her? Hey, have you seen her? I told you, you deserve 70s and 80s music only. These new cats out here, they don't make music for women like you. You deserve Isley Brothers. Al Green. Wow. And then the father, not the stepfather, but the father that stepped up, Christian Cage. Wow. What a beautiful family. And the pet dinosaur.
Pet dinosaur, please.
What a beautiful family.
See, this is the family that liberals can't having, okay? A happy white family.
Happy family. Just a beautiful family. A beautiful family. I think it's really crazy is because as we get deeper into this, they really do look like a beautiful family. Like they actually are starting to look like, oh wow. Like
you know what be getting me? I was sitting there and I'm like, oh dude, dad really passed away.
Yeah.
And we wearing shirts that said Christian is my father. That's insane.
And we're just going with it. But you know what though? I'm really happy, like from like a serious note, like I'm really happy that they found a way to incorporate his mom into the storyline. Simply because like we always hear stories about how like wrestlers who start young are always on like end up on terrible paths. And like I think that is super helpful that like he has his mom on the road with him. Like at 18, like fresh out of high school, like you're still a kid, and like having like, and you're around so many influences, like you know, like you're traveling and stuff. And so like I think that is super cool that he's able to like have his mom be a part of it without being like, you know, all up in his grill. And so yeah, I think that that's super cool, and I think it's going to really help with his development as he gets older in the business. He's going to just have a much stronger foundation, just because like, you know, he's just going to be much more down to earth, I think, like by having his mom. And like, even if anybody ever watched the GCW match that he had with Will Ospreay, and he was 16 at the time, and I think Will Ospreay was talking about like his Nick Wayne's mom, and like how she's his biggest fan when it comes to the wrestling, and like, you know, drove him to all the shows and like supports him. And so I honestly think that that's so cool. Like, you know, and the fact that she probably never thought, somebody said it, like she probably never thought that she would be a part of wrestling too. And like, you know, and especially after losing his dad, like, you know, it's something that they get to bond over. And we've never really gotten to see that in like a cool way. Like I feel like whenever people bring their moms, it's always so weird. Yeah. Like, but this is so cool. Like it's really.
Yeah, and I think, yeah, to your point, I think, what do they call people when they like don't need therapy? Like well-adjusted.
Yeah.
I think this is gonna really help Nick Wayne be a well-adjusted wrestler in comparison to a lot of other people who didn't necessarily have that support system. But yeah, he needs to be wrestling on TV more often. Absolutely. He has got the skill, the quickness. He's got some really unique movesets that I really enjoy watching. And I think that there are so many people that I think he could have a great match with. And we have so many hours of TV to fill. Why are we not seeing Nick Wayne more consistently? Especially knowing that Christian Cage in his current role is sort of like the final boss that you have to get to. Like, why aren't we using Nick Wayne as more of like a person that you go through to get to Christian Cage?
You know what though? I do think because we've actually seen Nick Wayne wrestle a bit more in the past weeks. I think he was injured for a while. And like, you know, his shoulder was taped up too. So like, I think that he was actually out with injury, but he was still on TV, obviously a part of the storyline. But like, yeah, I think that that's probably what happened, because even if you look like he's been taking indie dates again, and like he's starting to like have, you know, they had the trios match on Collision recently. So hopefully this is a sign that, you know, we will see more of him. Like I see so much potential in him. Somebody said it on Twitter. A lot of people said it on Twitter, actually. Like he's in that Ospreay lineage, that Nick Wayne, Kyle Fletcher, Will Ospreay of just like these crazy generational talents. And
Takeshita, like throw my man in there.
Well, Takeshita's not in the Ospreay lineage.
No, okay, fine, but I wanted to talk about him.
Takeshita is more so in the Omega Ibushi lineage, you know, like from the DDT.
Okay, from DDT. Yeah. Okay, I'll accept that.
So, like, but yeah, I think that Nick Wayne has so much potential. I think he's going to be the youngest ever AEW World Champion one day, and as he continues to like, he's going to gain weight, just like Will Ospreay did, and still manage to have like that junior heavyweight agility and stuff. And he's going to rule the world one day. Like him and Billy Starks, putting them with vets like Athena and Christian Cage has helped them so much now, and is going to help them so much in the future. And those are your future world champions, young William and Nicholas Wayne. Those are your future AEW world champions. And so super excited for their future, but this was great. Orange Cassidy, this is actually one of the better title defenses that Orange Cassidy has had
in the second reign. Yes,
it absolutely has from the second reign, and so that was really good. Really kind of like, I will say, sending his reign off on a high note, because he's probably likely going to drop the belt. We had the Kingdom interference that happened here. We had the Best Friends come out of nowhere. We had Daniel Garcia come out of nowhere, and so it was cool to have like a lot of different. You got to kill two birds with one stone here with the multiple storylines, with obviously Daniel Garcia versus Christian Cage for the TNT titles happening. Then you have Orange Cassidy versus Roderick Strong. So I was super happy with this segment. Like I said, I do expect the title to change hands for the International Championship, but I'm not sure when it comes to the TNT Championship. But I would like to see it change hands. I think that, Christian Cage has elevated that belt as much as he possibly can. And I think, hey, I put the belt on DG this weekend.
I've gone back and forth about this.
Me too, because this is not the answer I had 2 days ago.
Yeah, I was going to say. Because I love DG. Who doesn't? And I think that he would be, like, that's what the belt is for, is to be sort of this mid-card belt, this elevates you to the next level belt. And it's hard for me to envision what exactly Christian Cage does next with it, because to your point, I do feel like he's pretty much checked all the boxes. But I'm still having a good time.
I'm having a great time, man. I'm having a blast.
Like the end of OC's first international title reign, I was like, oh my God, that was great. And let's move on. And then we didn't. Obviously, there were injuries and things that played a role into it, but we came back to it, and I was ready for that to end. This, I'm like, this could go to the next pay-per-view, and I think I'd be fine. And Cage can always find something else to say to keep.
And I think that that's why it should end too, is because, like, I think that AEW needs to get better at leaving things while you're still having a good time.
Okay, that's fair.
Because, like, the MJF run went way too long. Orange Cassidy's second reign, right? Never should happen in the first place. Like, it's just a lot of times, like, we just drag things out. And, I think that while we're still having fun, because the thing is, if he drops the belt while we're still having fun, that means we're still,
when he comes back, yeah.
Not even just, that means we're still invested in the Christian Cage character, like, so no matter whether he has the belt or not, we're still going to hang on to him and his families everywhere. So that's my rationale. And I think that DG,
I think you've persuaded me.
Yes. And DG, I feel like we've watched him lose enough. Like, we've watched him lose enough. It's time for him to get some big wins. And so, yeah, I would.
Or it's time for him to snap and then join the BCC.
Yeah, and also, we still haven't seen Adam Copeland in a few weeks, and so it's a really good chance he just pops up at Revolution and costs Christian the title. Like, that's a perfectly, realistic conclusion. So,
and I'm cool with that, even. So
I'm good, exactly, because the Cope Christian feud doesn't need the title anymore.
No.
So. Next, we had the Bang Bang Scissor Gang promo. MJF, you will pay for what you did. A full gear. That's all I gotta say. I thought we were going to head towards a unification match. I thought that was going to be the plan for Revolution. Clearly, it's not happening. And honestly, at this point, the card is too stacked. We don't need to really add too much to it. Yeah, it's not working for me.
It never worked for me.
It worked for me when I thought that it was going to end at Revolution. So when I thought we were heading towards a clear end, it worked for me. But now that it feels that we're not heading towards a clear end, I'm getting worried. Switchblade, I'm gonna get you out of there. And I think honestly, like, with so much fun stuff happening right now, Ospreay, Okada, and stuff. Like, that's who I want you playing with. Those are the type of people that I want you hanging with. I want you fighting with Samoa Joe. I want you getting in Hangman's face. Like, that's what I need from you.
Main
like,
eventers.
Hangman and Jay White. Like, that's what ready-made story right there. Swerve and Jay White, ready-made story right there. Like, I have the plans I have for you. Switchblade.
You just gotta trust me. You just gotta trust me.
I'm gonna get you out of there.
Here's what I'll say.
You don't belong in there.
Here's what I'll say, right? I think that the performers are doing a good job with what is happening right now, except Max Caster. What the fuck was that?
I will say, I do think that a lot of the negativity towards this is very much centered around Max Caster, because I genuinely think that, like, if it wasn't for him, I think a lot of us will be so much higher up on this, because I love Anthony Bowens. I think that he's awesome. And I even like Billy Gunn. I think that he has great comedic timing, and the Guns are funny. Like, I think the Guns are funny, and y'all already know I can't wait till my Collision Cowboy Juice Robinson get back.
That's what I was gonna say. I could see all of this working if Juice Robinson were here.
Absolutely.
Because he is the most clear link between the two. The Guns are funny, but Juice is outrageous. Like, he's
Absolutely.
like over the top. He's this, that, and the third. And that's more along the lines of the Acclaimed gimmick. So without that sort of in-between person to make that connection, it just feels like, okay, now why do we have two sets of trios belts, first of all? But second of all, like, what do you have to do with each other? It doesn't make much sense. And look, I am gonna be honest. I've never been the biggest Jay White fan, but I understand and I respect him for what he is. And what he is a singles performer that can do a hell of a lot better than the way he's being utilized right now. So I mean, look, Bang Bang Scissor Gang is very fun to say. It's not all that fun to watch at present.
Yes. I am a big Jay White fan, and I need more, I need better. And somebody said, I assume the matches happen in Double or Nothing. You know what? If we're lucky, if we're super lucky, I really hope it's at Big Business. Like, they're supposed to be stacking that card anyway with like some big matches. So
are there?
It's essentially going to be the equivalent of, from what I'm thinking, it's going to be the equivalent of a Blood and Guts or a Grand Slam, and stuff like a pay-per-view on television. So
hell yeah, brother.
It's going to be a really big moment. Next, we had Chris Statlander versus Sky Blue. Listen, Chris Statlander is one of the best women's wrestlers in the world. And last year, she didn't get the credit for it because she didn't come back until the end of May. But now, put some respect on her name.
Wake it up.
She brings the best out of all the girls. She is the powerhouse. She threw that girl across the barricade. She's just everything. And Sky Blue has been in the lab. And that's why there's been a lot of discourse today about should you boo and how you treat women's talent and how fans should treat green.
Has there? I've missed all of this.
Oh, really? You haven't been on Twitter today?
I have been, I guess. Well, here's my thing, right? I have every single man on Twitter muted. So
well, it wasn't even about men. So
that's why I'm like, so I didn't see no girls talking about it.
So like apparently at a WWE house show, Maxine Dupree got like booed to death. Like she was walking out and they said, "You suck, Maxine."
Oh.
And so there was a lot of discourse. And so Rhea Ripley weighed in. It was like, people imagine if somebody booed you and you were new to your job, etc. And then Britt Baker quoted it and said like 100. And this is how I feel about it. I think that anytime you're doing something public facing, you open yourself up to criticism. That doesn't mean that it's right, but it's just the truth. And especially for women, for women's wrestling, we've come so far. We can't ask for special concessions just because you're a woman. Like, if it's like, oh, don't be so hard. Especially at a house show. Like, I'm gonna be honest. To be real, the fault is really on WWE for having her out there. because that's the point of having a developmental system. Knowing if you know she's not ready, she shouldn't be on the main roster. And throwing her to the wolves like that is kind of fucked up. But at the same time, performers have to use that as motivation to get better. And I think Sky Blue is one of those people because people was on her head a lot. Oh, I'm sick of her. She's not that good. She been in the lab because she botched that code blue so many times on AEW television.
That shit was smooth tonight.
That shit was smooth tonight. That's how I know she been in the lab. And so that's just my little 2 cents.
No, you good. I was just gonna say, I think, obviously I'm not entirely sure what happened in this particular scenario, but I do think that a lot of the times, like, there is definitely some merit to the statement that, like, yeah, you know, we girls be trying to ball, then, like, let's all be treated the same. Let's all whatever. But I think that knowing and acknowledging, like, the fact that wrestling audiences are so largely male and wrestling like structures itself are so largely male that, like, it doesn't sit entirely right with me to have a bunch of, you know, 40-year-old incel men. Oh, that bitch sucks. I understand that that's part of, to a certain extent, that's part of wrestling culture. Like, if you're not good, you get booed, you know. But I do sometimes think, not just in the in-ring performance, but whether it be online, whether it be I definitely think that there are differences in the way that men talk about women's wrestlers than they do male wrestlers. Not to say that they don't boo male wrestlers, not to say that they don't tell male wrestlers that they suck, but, like, when you're so big in the majority, do you have to be that loud?
And also, I would say, just to keep it a stack, it's differences in how women's wrestlers and certain companies are treated.
Yeah.
Or different companies are treated. For example, like, everybody, I'm not going to use that example because people going to click this. But a great example is last week. Was that last week that match happened? Y'all, a lot of y'all was telling Madison Rayne to get back in the kitchen and go be a mother after getting dropped on her neck. And today, from Maxine is, oh my gosh, like, you know, like, we need to be nicer, don't boo. And so, like, it's just different standards. And for example, like,
I agree with that.
A certain female wrestler that was in AEW was called green and was called terrible and couldn't wrestle. But in WWE, it's like, well, we're waiting for her to be ready. And, you know, you got to be patient. And, well, she doesn't have to be the best wrestler. She's a vibe.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely see what you're saying. I think that.
But I'm also saying, like, don't get me wrong. A lot of you 40-year-old incels, I don't know where you get off on constantly harassing women who are doing things that you literally can't do without getting you huff and puff walking to get your nachos from the concession stand.
Every day that you wake up, God sighs in disappointment.
That's a good one.
I don't want to hear shit from you.
Exactly. I don't like hearing men's opinions anyway.
All right. What the fuck do you have to say, dummy? Sorry.
Exactly. Except for Hangman.
And Takeshita.
And Kenny Omega.
Okay, so maybe there are more exceptions than we thought.
Exactly. But all of these exceptions have been clearly laid out on this show in advance.
Oh, yeah. These shouldn't be surprises.
They should not be surprises to any one of the men who are allowed to speak. Thank you. But I said all this to say, let's heading back to it. Sky Blue has improved a lot, and you can tell, like, she's really been in the booth. Julia Hart hits Chris Statlander with the championship. And Sky was able to hit the code blue. She was able to beat Chris Statlander. It's clear that Stokely is trying to get Willow and Chris.
Yeah.
Heel. So that's interesting. I'm interested to see where this story goes. I wonder if they're going to get a 0-hour slot. So yeah, it should be pretty
It
interesting.
should be fun. I mean, yeah, Statlander is her and a half, and she always has been. And it's really cool, like we said, to see certain performers. Like the women's division is absolutely climbing right now, you know, and Stat should definitely be one of the people that we continue to build around.
Absolutely. I think that she was really one of the pillars of that division.
You're
Then we have, well, the Jericho match. We already talked about that. Then we get to the end, which the Bucks come out. They're looking for Sting. They're asking, "Where are you?" Then they go to the crowd, and it's all these people in the Sting masks. And one of them is Darby, which was a great callback to, you know, all of the Stings and WCW and him taking off the mask and having the paint on underneath. And obviously it was Darby. They basically beat up Darby. And then they're like, and then Ric Flair comes out.
Go away.
But you know, hey, thankfully he wasn't like the full focus of the segment. So they do the EVP trigger. They're about to like, they expect him to like, you know, get on Darby. They don't. He doesn't actually. He you know, tries to fight the Bucks. I thought they were gonna do the EVP trigger on Flair. I was so ready. I was about to jump on.
I wanted the Tony Khan driver.
Oh,
get that little bitch.
I was so ready, but nah, they just kind of like just mushed him a little bit and then sent him off. And then so they're like, "Where are you, Sting? Come out!" They had their white bats. Then Sting's music hits, and so the Bucks run up the ramp. They said, come out, old man," waiting for him up there. And then for the last time, I'm getting emotional just thinking about it. For the last time, Sting comes down from the rafters. What a moment. Like, seriously, what a moment. This is one of those moments, and I don't say this just because, like, oh, I love AEW, but seriously, it's one of those nights, like, I'm so glad that AEW exists. I'm so glad that this moment
that he gets this.
Not that he just gets this, that we get
this.
There's so many of us, myself included, who are pissed with how Sting's run ended in WWE. And, like, I was pissed at the WrestleMania moment because why the fuck are you wrestling Triple H? And it was clear that they were just using him to get one last dump on, you know, on WCW. And it's so great to see him treated like the legend that he is. And Sting is special. And Sting is so, like, positive. And he represents everything that's right with professional wrestling. And I'm super glad to witness his career. I didn't get to see a lot of the WCW days because, LOL, 26. But I was introduced to him during TNA, and I got to see so much of his run there. And I'm just really grateful for his career. I'm grateful for just the locker room leader that he is. If you haven't read it, Darby Allin wrote a beautiful piece in the Players Tribune about Sting's run in AEW and his career in general that I recommend reading. A lot of people have been doing tribute shows this week. Shout out to Keeks, her show earlier this week. It made me go back and watch like some old Sting matches. I'm actually making my way through a couple old Sting matches. I watched Sting versus Ric Flair at NWA Clash of Champions 1988 earlier this week. New Japan Pro Wrestling dropped some classic Sting matches you should watch. There's one versus Antonio Inoki. There's one versus Hiroshi Hase. There's one versus him teaming up with the Great Muta. I'm going to make my way through those probably actually tonight. I'm going to start watching some of those. And I'm actually going to definitely go back and rewatch that Forbidden Door match that started all of this. Bullet Club versus Dudes with Attitudes, which was Young Bucks and and El Phantasmo versus Sting, Darby, and Shingo. We're just so lucky to witness this. Damn, like
I'm emotional. Like, what the? You said when you were like, for the last time, I was like, why the fuck would you say that? Yeah. Look, I thought that AEW did a great job. I think that they've done a great job in utilizing him in, in his position in AEW, and I thought that tonight was a very fitting send-off for an incredibly deserving wrestler. And I think that it had all the right people, all the right components. The Young Bucks are the right match. Darby's the right partner. It's been, well, besides Ric Flair, he shouldn't have been, but
that's Sting Boy. Like, even that
I
part.
know, whatever. I hope he falls in a ditch. But I get it. Yeah, and I mean, it still feels like it doesn't feel like what do you mean? Like, Sunday is it? Like, that's it.
I think it's because he's so youthful, because why the fuck is somebody's grandpa hanging from the rafters, dog? Like, why somebody granddaddy in the rafters, dog? You're 64, Sting! Why are you hitting that scorpion death drop so clean, Sting?
Oh my god. And look,
why are you hitting that stinger splash so clean, Sting?
I'm actually I didn't think I was gonna be like emotional about this, but I guess I am. But I think, yeah, and a little bit of a side note, oh my god, I am so scared about this match on Sunday. The bumps that these people are going to take. Darby Allin tries to kill himself for fun. Okay?
Darby has flat out said the shit we got planned for this match. He flat out said that in the Players Tribute. And same thing with the Bucks in their article that came out Sports Illustrated. They said the shit we got planned.
I'm like, they're gonna stab Darby Allin in the chest.
This thing
is gonna fly off the roof.
This motherfucker's about to do crazy. He said, if I have to sacrifice myself, I said sacrifice.
I was like, why do you need to do that?
Like, if this is like, this, y'all, woo, this is gonna be crazy.
And I said it earlier on Twitter, but I want whatever health insurance Darby Allin has, because he was like, I know I'm going to the hospital. Who's paying for this?
He's living on the edge, my good sister.
Trying to be like you, Darbysaurus.
And the fact that he's about to go fuck his whole body up, then climb Mount Everest, like, are you crazy? I'm gonna be honest, I'm actually really interested in seeing what's next for Darby after this. Like, it's actually really great that he's gonna take some time off, because he's gonna have to I'm interested to see how he reinvents himself. And honestly, Darby might be the best killer, y'all. He might be the strongest killer.
No, he is.
He is.
I was gonna say, you don't have to say might. I would argue that he always was.
Pairing him with Sting was the greatest decision ever. Darby is going to be that character. He's that Jeff Hardy of our generation. But
you know what my problem is? I think that for better or for worse, for the rest of Darby Allin's career, whenever he's in trouble, I'm going to be like, where's Sting?
That is true.
Oh!
I'm going to be, and I'm not going to lie. It might happen a year from now. It might happen at All In, but there's going to be a moment when Sting comes to just say, hey, and the lights are going to go out, and he's just going to hit somebody with a bat. And it's going to be beautiful.
I hope it's Jericho.
And he's going to disappear. And we're never going to see him again. It's just so special. And I'm going to be honest, the Bucks were the best opponents for this. It's just special. I've been getting emotional, but I know it's not going to hit me until Sunday.
Oh, Lyric, are you going to Revolution?
Yeah.
Someone asked. It hasn't come up today, so.
Yes. Yeah, I like, I'm so excited for Revolution, but I'm also dreading it at the same time, just because it's like it's the end of something. And like, I remember, what was that? That was my second WrestleMania ever where Ric Flair retired. This was before I knew he was a weirdo, but that match, Shawn Michaels versus Ric Flair, the only retirement match of his that I acknowledge, by the way.
Yeah.
I just remember that was the first wrestling match that ever made me cry. And that was me as a kid. And it wasn't even as, and so like, I know now, I didn't even love wrestling half as much as I did back then as I do now. And so like, I just know that I'm still trying to figure out, should I wear makeup? Because it's going to be gone. Like, I don't even know. Like,
yeah, you should, because I want to see the before and after pictures.
Why don't you do that to me? I'm not taking any pictures after that.
I'll FaceTime you. It's fine.
Okay. But yeah, I don't know. It's going to be crazy, and it's also really crazy because, like I said, I've been watching the Sting matches. I watched the Sting versus Ric Flair match, and that match actually took place at the Greensboro Coliseum. So it's super cool just to like. I just love how AEW tells stories of just like it's so clever, and people always say, well, how are they going to do this because they don't own these libraries and stuff. Let me tell you something, and people can take it however they want to take it, and wrestling WWE fans, you can take it however you want to take it. WWE, y'all might own everything as far as tape libraries and own stuff in the library, in a warehouse, but you can't own essence and ideas, like
True.
People's careers and what people meant to people, and the things they did and the way that they inspired generations of wrestlers, of fans. You will never be able to buy that. You might own that WCW library, but you'll never be able to purchase WCW's influence.
You'll never be able to buy what people feel.
Exactly. You'll never be able to buy that. And you can release all the revisionist history documentaries that you want. You can do whatever, you can brainwash however many people you want. Because it's a lot of people out here who only believe one side of history. But I think this Sting retirement run, and it's not even just being pro AEW, it's just like wrestlers being able to create their own legacy. And outside of any company, and I think that that's just so important. And I think that Japan has done a great job of it, as we saw during like the great Kaiji Muto retirement. But it's nice to finally see this in American wrestling, because typically when American wrestlers go out, if you're not on good terms with WWE, your shit is done. You're going out terribly.
And it's like your career never happened. I'll be like, well.
And it's nasty and erased.
But I know we ain't close on time. Meat Madness has been killed. It's been caught and compromised to a permanent end. What? You can't just throw that out there, and you fucking put Jericho in there. Look, they're doing the 8-man scramble now. I understand.
I'm pissed about it because the thing is, no, but that's the thing. Tony Khan, you said that the Meat Madness was canceled due to injuries, but the same 3 people who were in Meat Madness,
those people are in the match.
They're in the match. Lance Archer, Powerhouse Hobbs, and Wardlow are all in the match, so I'm confused. So currently the lineup, we have Jericho, Wardlow, Hobbs, Lance Archer, Hook, Brian Cage, and 2 mystery surprises. I'm interested to see it. And apparently this is now going to be a #1 contenders match for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship. So, hey, if y'all want to add Big Kazoo,
Cash Money
Kazoo, Big Money Kazoo. If y'all want to add Cash Money Kazoo, I'm not gonna have any problemo with that. At this point now, I'm just gonna fantasy book that that's what's gonna happen. I just know, I can feel it in my spirit. Hook is gonna try to slam Hobbs or Lance Archer or Brian Cage. He's gonna do it. He's gonna do it. I think that when they finally do have Meat Madness, I think Hook should be a part of it. Simply because I think like he's crazy enough to just think that he can literally beat anybody and that he can slam anybody from the Samoa Joe stuff. He's on a real high right now. And Hook really thinks that he is 250 pounds and 7'4". And so I think that he should be part of Meat Madness when it happens.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think so. Listen, he is the same size as all of them in his head.
I mean, so am I, but delusion can get you hurt sometimes.
Well, yes. Well, yes, but I'm not gonna lie. Like, I love Hook's delusions because, like, he's really convinced himself that, yeah, I can beat any of you. That's how I feel when I walk into a room. I can beat anybody in here.
But my problem is 100% I believe that. And if I don't believe that, I will leave. Because I'm like, I need to be able to fight my way out of here.
Well, yes, 100% correct. I feel the same way. Like, if I don't believe that I can't fight my way out of here, I'm not coming.
If I can't beat the brakes off of everybody in here, it's not happening.
Do not come.
So Hook's just like me.
Mm-hmm. Just like me, for real. But yes, that's Revolution coming up. Obviously, we have Thomas Tony Storm versus Deanna Purrazzo for the AEW Women's World Championship. Trying to think of anything else we're missing. Claudio and John Moxley versus FTR. Bryan Danielson versus Eddie Kingston for the Continental Championship. Orange Cassidy versus Roger Strong for the AEW International Championship. We have Hangman Adam Page versus Lars Strickland versus Samoa Joe for the AEW World Championship. And we have Sting's final match.
And Christian Cage, Daniel Garcia.
Yes! Christian Cage versus Daniel Garcia for the TNT Championship. And we have Sting's final match, Sting and Darby Allin, and a tornado tag versus the Young Bucks for the AEW Tag Team Championship. So it's going to be a crazy night, y'all. I'm excited. I still don't know if I have credentials. I haven't got an email yet. I don't know, yes or no. But like I said before, I got a ticket. So I'm going to be there regardless.
Whatever.
I'm sorry.
Boo. Everybody's cyberbully lyric.
Please don't. I get enough of that. I get enough of that on a regular.
I was going to say, both of us get enough of that.
We get enough of that on a regular Tuesday.
No.
Please.
Direct that energy towards Chris Jericho.
But yes, that's Revolution. It gets good pictures. Yes, I'm gonna try to get great footage. We'll see. If I'm not crying, because I get really emotional at these things. Thank you. Not at the press conference, but like at the actual show, I end up crying a lot. And crying and alcohol don't really work out very
Jack
well.
Perry core.
Yeah, very much so. So, hey, that's what it, Crimea River. But thanks, guys, for showing up to this chapter of the Dynamite book. As always, I'm Lyric Swinton. You can find me at Lyric Wrestling on Twitter and Instagram. You can subscribe on YouTube at Lyric Swinton, my first and last name. The final installment of my Black History Month interview series will be out tomorrow with Fred Rosser from I'm so super excited. Whoop, whoop. Yeah, so thanks for everybody who supported my Black History Month content. It's been great. And where can we find you, Dani?
You can find me at Dani Don't Miss on Twitter and at Black Girl Wrestling. And check out our website, blackgirlwrestling.com. It is, unfortunately, the end of Black History Month, but guess what? It's going to be Women's History Month. So it's all about the girls in March. So be sure to check out all of our stuff that we have going up for them, too.
Period. And so literally, you can't get enough of us of just telling us how great we are for 2 months straight. Like,
no, literally.
Amazing. But without any further ado, I must bid you all adieu. Good night. Mwah! and good night.
Bang.
Okay. Bye, everybody.